So when you're working with somebody to create a bigger package and a bigger offer for their
Mhm.
things, bigger package, and charging more for it.
I was just going to jump on that one.
As I catch myself saying things.
Wait, is it a longer package or a wider package? Which one are we talking about?
Um, let's see. I forget my question. It was when
Look into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by
Success.
eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. So strong and impelling is the desire for sexual contact that men freely run the risk of life and reputation to indulge in. When harnessed and redirected along other lines, this motivating force maintains all of its attributes of keenness of imagination, courage, etc., which may be used as powerful creative forces in literature, art, or in any other profession or calling, including, of course, the accumulation of riches. Napoleon Hill.
Hey there, peeps. Welcome to the Little Blue Pill for Business podcast. It's all about getting it up and keeping it up. And yes, we're talking about revenue and profits. And we all know that it's about 6 inches between your ears. So you're going to join me while I hop in bed with my guest today. Some of the hottest people in the industry are blowing and going and want to help you get on some action. So clearly this podcast is for people who enjoy a little tongue in cheek and not just physically. If that describes you. You're in the right place. Welcome to my latest soiree with Mr. Jeff. How you doing, Jeff? I'm excited that
I'm
you're here
doing
today.
I'm doing really good. And after that intro, I've got about 27 mental Michael Scott. That's what she said. Retorts lined up in my brain.
Nice. Excellent. I'm glad.
Thanks for having me on.
Nice little foreplay for our conversation going on and get you in the mood.
It's always good to stroke the ego a little bit. So, and other
Right?
things. So thank you
You got to
for
wake up
that.
that part of the brain and those sorts of things. So
Yep.
give us kind of the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
Yeah. So I am, I guess really I'm like a creative person. If I had to like just say one line, what do I do? I love the creation process. I love bringing really new, great ideas to life. I love the challenge of taking something more mundane and making it special. So for that reason, I've got my retail business with my business partner, Ben McClure, Gardner's Mattress and More in Lancaster. That really was born out of, 10, 12 years on the wholesale side of the industry, being away from my family, building a business that I thought was my business, and then realized I don't really have crap because I'm a hired gun for all these factories and they can turn my lights off anytime they want. And that happened over the years. So I just leveraged that knowledge and put it into the retail business, got off the road, spent more time with family. But I've always had that itch to do more. And any business I'm involved in, I want to be in that investor seat role. I don't want to be in the business. I want to work on it. So I've always had things going. I've had an income stream through Infotail Systems, which is basically like marketing automation for businesses and licensing organizations. That works as a discrete revenue stream in business for me. And I've got my big ticket life coaching brand where I help business owners. Really there, I'm like an ally for that integrator, get them outside of that, insidious, incestuous pool of just doing what their industry says they have to do. Like, no, we're going to blow the doors off this thing and have fun and create new ways for explosive growth. So I've always got my hands in a number of different things.
Nice.
I guess I'm not a monogamous business owner. I'm more
Guess not. Eh?
I'm more like threesome, foursome, fivesome kind of guy when it comes to businesses.
Love it. So not even a polyamorous, just straight up orgy.
Sure.
Okay. Well, you had me intrigued at beds, and then you mentioned that you got the edge. I was like, okay, there's so many directions we could take this. I
That's
am
right.
so good with that. But let's kind of start off at the beginning. And I have to ask you, what was it like being in the the bed industry and the mattress industry as a thing, because I can only but imagine that, one, the jokes would have been terrible, and two, that the profit could have been really good, because some of those, it looks like an appealing business from the outside. So,
well, I mean, listen, it's an appealing business. I really don't think, unless you're like a firefighter or an astronaut, Broadway dancer, an actor, a lot of things that we all do. When you're a child, you're like, I don't want to grow up and be a mattress store owner.
What? You didn't dream of that?
Right. Yeah. Like that wasn't my thing. Actually, I wanted to be.
Hold on. I can just imagine, hitting 15 and, there's really a business in replacing your mattress every few years, especially when you have a 14-year-old male in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that alone could have been like,
that can be one. That can be one of the reasons.
You have a teenager in the house, it's probably time to replace your mattress.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's you kind of got derailed in my thought there.
I do that. Sorry,
because I've not thought about that angle to go after for marketing the mattresses. I can tell you a real interesting one though.
Yes.
That Dan Kennedy challenged me with, and my business partner just couldn't get his head around. We could talk about that in a minute, but yeah, I mean, I think we all grow up and we find our way into these things that we do because there's something about it that becomes fun. So for me, I said I'm a creative type of guy, and I just love the ability to take what is mundane and commodity and wrap it up in experience and just have it be really incredible. And the goal is to make that purchasing process for our customers be the most fun thing they purchase for their home, even though it's the thing no one shows off. Like when you build a deck or an addition or a kitchen, you show it off. Carpet.
People don't invite people into the bedroom. Go, wow, look what we got. And then sexy.
Well, I mean, generally not speaking, but hey, if you're upside down pineapple people, sure you do. In case you didn't know what the upside down pineapple is, I guess it's a code for swingers.
Thank you.
No. Yeah. So
if you walk into somebody's master bedroom and they're showing off their mattress and they have upside down pineapples hanging everywhere, now you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Usually it's more like more discreet than that. It's kind of like the code. It's like code language. It gets like hung on a door, or maybe a piece of wall art or a Facebook picture. I don't know. It's a little more discreet. I guess Facebook.
How are you going to be looking for them everywhere?
I guess Facebook's not all that discreet, but yeah, it's fun, and it's fun marketing it because you can do a lot of things. We had the "Who are you sleeping with" headline. That whole theme of that ad was around, look, if you're going to buy a mattress, buy it with a local company that cares, right? As opposed to at the
sleep
time,
locally.
Right. Exactly. Don't farm it out to those offshore guys. Just give it up to us. That was that theme, a little more, diplomatic than here, but that was the theme there. But the thing Kennedy challenged us on was to really market the sex factor. Because listen, I mean, that is the other activity that goes on in bed, right?
Right.
It's interesting though. It doesn't translate. I've not found it translates well one-on-one with customers. They
don't want to talk about masturbating. They're okay talking about sex, but not masturbating.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I guess
not
I
what
don't
you
know.
meant by one-on-one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that could be a question. I've never had it, but until now, thank you, Michelle, for that. Pop that cherry.
Happy to crop.
But yeah, when the topic of sex comes up, people often ask, like, especially like around a Tempur-Pedic or Tempur-Pedic type mattress, how are these for that? And we've always handled it diplomatically. The one time I bit on that question, and I had maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours into the presentation at this point, and I bid on it and thought I was returning in kind, not above, not below, just right in the sphere of comedy. My answer, and I forget what it was. You'd have thought I went and just took a big old dump in the middle of the floor. They were like just nose turned up and out that fast. So I guess it was like, okay, game's over. They just took their ball and went home. Like, so never again do I bite on those. But
I guess it depends on your audience.
I guess I thought
Some
I had
people
the
like
audience.
it when you bite.
Yeah, right. They do. I thought I had the audience, but I didn't. I didn't. It's funny. Sealy Mattress at one point had a big national marketing campaign of whatever you do in bed, we support it, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But in our day and age, it kind of flubbed because it has, we seem to have an abundance of grievance societies,
No.
And people immediately took it to, oh, so if you are pressuring somebody into sex, you're okay with that if it happens in bed. Like, well,
no,
nobody
it's not what we
said,
meant. Not what we meant.
not what we meant. Nobody said that. You said it, but so they backed off of it. But
that's so
but
sad
anyway.
because Sealy's had some pretty good ones, some pretty sexy ads over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I think they all have. I
don't remember Maytag. Like I remember the Maytag guy, and I'm like, nope, that's not sexy. Whereas Sealy's was at least, there was always a voluptuous curve to their advertising. Let's put it that way.
Well, and the Europeans have straight out naked people on the beds. They're far less hung up on sexuality than we are here in North America. But no, the ad that Kennedy challenged us to do, or the medium, I should say, the place he challenged us to advertise was actually on pornography sites.
Yep.
For the simple fact that we likely could get on there very inexpensively, have a ton of impressions.
Right.
And we at the time had a really interesting product in an adjustable bed base that had these braces at the corners to hold the mattress in place.
Yeah.
And they would make fantastic tie downs if you were into that kind of thing. Right. So that was the angle I was going to play. And because I didn't think, just talking about a mattress was like, even who are you sleeping with? And, I just didn't feel that would lead to
sales. So what happened?
Right. Well, so I talked with my business partner. He couldn't get there. He just wasn't there.
Because even if people didn't go, oh my God, you advertise on porn sites, like, how do you know that?
Well, right. It's the agreed upon mutual self-destruction.
Right.
It's like, if you're out at the bar at 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning and you see your pastor out there with not the pastor's wife,
right?
There's kind of an agreed upon thing here that we just don't talk about it.
Exactly. So, I'm so sad that you didn't do that. I think that would have been awesome.
I think it could have been good. I think it could have been something, but that's all right. I respect my business partner immensely. We have built a fantastic business. The last few weeks, we actually really put it to the test. With my knee replacement that I'm, rehabbing right now as we record this. I've only been out the business one day in the last 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
And that was really to get out of the house because I was going stir crazy more than anything. And the week I had my surgery and leading into the following week, he was in the Bahamas. So we've built something special. We lead well, and it was nice that everything I say I do has been put to the test.
Right.
So I respect him, and he just wasn't there, so I wasn't going to push it.
All good. So now when you're working with people and you're helping them have their big breakthroughs, does it involve kind of coming out, if you will? That just popped out of my mouth. I went, oh, that's funny. In a way that, because it was bad before trying to tell somebody, we want to see your personality. We want to see what's going on for you. And then all of a sudden society went, no, we really don't. We want you to be ultra conservative now. And the pendulum kind of swung the other way. When somebody really wants to play a big game, can they go conservative to be able to do that? Or is it something where they have to figure out kind of what they're made for and what they're made of and what they stand for?
Yeah, I mean, I think having your core values set, I think having what your points of integrity are super important, and whatever that might be for yourself. Yep. And really importantly, does your customer base connect to that? Mm-hmm. Do they care? You might care, but they might not. And like one of the things we pride ourselves on in the retail mattress business is if we lay out 10 invoices for for the same mattress across 10 different customers, we're going to probably be within $50 invoice to invoice. And that's only because we have a discounting program that by and large is inside the base paths of the ballpark for discounting for everybody. So it just might fluctuate a little bit, but everybody had that same opportunity, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I really pride myself on that because our industry struggles with a lot of let's make a deal, Monty Hall type stuff. And so I say to customers, look, you want to really hardcore negotiate. We have an everyday price here. This is what we do. These are the parameters we work in, the lane we ride in. And some people just don't care. They're like, I don't give a shit. I want the best deal. The place down the street's giving me 70% off. You better too. I mean, well, first of all, we don't market and promote that way. Right. But
right.
So yeah, you got to have those points of integrity and they have to matter to your broader customer base. And whatever those are, you set them up.
Well, and you bring up a good point in the 70% off realm, because I totally get it when you have inventory and you have to move inventory. And although it always was a conundrum to me in mattresses, it's like, okay, it's product you're never going to see. It probably hasn't changed that much in the last 20 years. How do you cycle inventory? Like, why is there a concern? Every year I hear the advertising, the sales going, what's our annual mix and match sale? And it's like, who cares? Why do people care what their mattress looks like and what year it was built? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
You would be surprised what people care about.
Yes, I would.
Right? Like,
yeah. Okay, you're right.
Listen,
I'm open to hearing it, and it still surprises me.
Right, there you go. Like, people will find something that supports their body well, is comfortable, relieves pressure points, is in the budget, but the fabric isn't the right color. So it doesn't get purchased. The mix and match sales that happens because, fabrics get discontinued, inventory gets out of alignment of box springs. And, you're right. Like, you don't see this stuff. And once you put sheets and dust ruffles on, it just doesn't matter. So that's an opportunity for that budget in discount hunter to save money. Your affluent buyer doesn't respond to advertising like that at all. They buy throughout the year. But yeah, you'd be shocked. Like the quilting, the mattresses are quilted up, and you'd be shocked that people are like, well, I don't like that depth of bump in the mattress. And it's like, well, you know what they say, the bigger the bump, the better. I don't know. Is that how that goes?
I can almost understand that because they're going, oh, that looks uncomfortable. Whereas if they said something like, oh, I only want the one with the little heart-shaped ones, I don't like the ones with the diamond-shaped ones. It's like, and you're never going to see that. Never going to feel that.
Yep. I had a customer years ago. They were big Susan G. Komen donators and fundraisers, and they wanted a pink cover. And I said, I love what you're doing. I think the better way to go would be to put some of the ribbon elements with proper licensure checks being done. I think we could do that, but I think there's going to be a lot of husbands that aren't going to get down on a pink mattress. And that was the case. Are they going to see it?
Again, are they going to see it?
Yeah.
You cover that puppy up with satin and nobody gives a shit what color the mattress is, I assure you. Unless she bites it that hard that she's going through the sheets. I can't see anybody caring the mattress.
I don't know. I was honestly, that was the only time I got hung up on it, really.
Especially guys that live in rooms with doilies and drapes and they're all pink and they all have flowers. You care what color the bed is at that point.
Yep.
I understand.
Yeah, that was one great.
Maybe that's
great
just
product.
drawing the line. Like, you can have all the stuffed animals.
It was that just moment too far.
No.
Just missed the mark there.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's hilarious. So do you find the same conundrums or issues when people are marketing other businesses? Like your clients come to you and they're marketing their whatever it is that they got going on, their ATVs. Is it same thing, different day, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think so many business owners forget that they are not their customer. You know, they think their customer is walking in the door, picking up the phone, sending that email as though they're right beside them here at the desk. And they've lived that life of 10, 20, 30 years of experience. And they know the ins and outs of what this year's model year 2023 ATVs offer versus last year. And it's like, no, they might purchase an ATV once every 5 years. They might do a kitchen remodel once every 20 years, or maybe it's the only time they're going to do it in their life. You've got to always focus on, meeting your customer where they are. I mean, really kind of think like, we joke a lot on this show. Don't go right to doing it on that first phone call. You got to wine and dine. You have to go through the process. You have to get on the same page. You don't crack out the fart jokes before the appetizers come on the first date, right? Like,
well, and apparently talking about sex on mattresses within 2 hours is a little too much too.
Well, right. Like it was for me. It was for me that time. But yeah, like, there is that process. And remember that you're just not your customer. And you have to really meet them where they are. And you have to understand and take that time to bring them in and all get on that same page.
So when you're working with somebody to create a bigger package, a bigger offer for their things, bigger package, and charging more for it.
I was just going to jump on that one.
As I catch myself saying things.
Wait, is it a longer package or a wider package? Which one are we talking about?
Let's see. I forget my question. It was when you're talking about offering bigger packages and they're going and talking to somebody, well, let's back up the bus. So they've been having the conversation that they've had for however many years with their clients. And then you're like, okay, this doesn't have the profitability in it. We have to increase this. There's got to be more. You can't just be a $50 crack whore anymore. We're going to have to up you to escort. How do you have that conversation with them if all they've ever had are crack whore conversations? How do they know what an escort client is actually looking for?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's really an understanding of who that business owner is. Have they tried new things? What's been their sphere of influence to date? That's the biggest one. Like if they've only ever paid attention to the like let's use HVAC, HVAC world. They've only ever gone to the HVAC conferences. Their library behind them isn't, I've got books all up there and all behind me, shoulders down. There's books up here. If they've got a pile and not a library, and in that pile, it's just HVAC monthly. And, they've got a pinup of the Ream 2023 furnace, like a pinup girl, right? Yeah, there you go.
She was hot.
It's a real hot one. Like if that's all they have, that's a lot to work with and unpack. You got to break a lot of habit. So I look for what have been the markers for a business owner to attempt that expansion and attempt that growth in their business. I get it because you look to your peers. I look to my peers in anything that I'm involved in. I respect them, but I also look outside. And it's what opportunity, because customers are customers are customers. Somebody who buys an HVAC system is the same somebody who buys a kitchen, is the same somebody who buys weight loss. It's the same somebody who buys marriage counseling, right? It's the same person. They have the same buying habits. They have the same appetites. So if that person is coming and you learn that they're from the affluent side of town and they're in front of you, they're not a cheap buyer. They may be saying that because that's what they've been maybe trained to say. Again, like if I look at the mattress industry, and I blast a lot of my peers on this point, 50% of all ad space in our industry is $7.99 and under. Okay, yet the average sale is $1,200. So if you're a customer and you're coming in, I'm sorry, I'm wrong on that. It's $399 and under. I said $799, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
Which is even worse.
It's even worse.
So
So
I'm thinking all of a sudden I positioned myself as an affluent buyer, which I didn't think it was. But I was like, no, I don't want a mattress. I don't know where it's been. I don't know what's on.
Right.
So just not my price point.
So if you're walking in and you've got in your mind as a customer, I'm going to spend about $1,000, $1,200. I'm comfortable with that, even $1,500. Yep. And what you've seen in the promotions, so much of that time and space occupies that low price point. You're thinking, hey, I'm going to probably get pretty good service here. I'm willing to spend way more than what they're showing me, but their reputation looks good. Reviews looks good. They're in my community. I'll go to them. But the training process is start at $6,000 or $8,000, start at the top and work down. Mm-hmm. And immediately there's this divide that you have to overcome. And the customers got animosity about it because they're like, whoa, wait a minute. My first car was $8,000. I've had people say this mattress system is more than our first house that we bought. Like that's a 75, 80-year-old couple that's looking to maximize sleep for the time. Right.
They're not going to be breaking in the mattress the way they broke in the first car.
No, they're going to, yeah.
Not at 70.
Well, you'd be surprised. Some of those folks are pretty active. But it's that divide that we create between us and our customer. And I think you overcome that by always seeking, I know you always can overcome that divide by just first having a conversation and a structure and a process to affirm that you're the right solution by prescribing the right fit. It's all about fit.
Yes. So when somebody's coming in and so when they're working with you, obviously they're going to figure out kind of what questions they have. They're going to obviously be retraining their staff on these things, because if their staff has been trained on in any way,
right,
to be able to look at their clientele and say, hey, we want to start matching up where they're at with what's appropriate for them, and to be able to do it profitably, it's going to be a different conversation no matter what.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
So what kind of things should people be thinking about before they come to you and go, hey, this is what I do? Or is there anything? Is it just whatever you're doing, stop doing it. Stop doing it now. Come talk to me and we'll figure out where you need to go from here, because where you think you need to go and where you really need to go in order to create profit in your business is totally different.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I love working with people that have the belief within themselves that they are able to escape what their industry says. Like, I want you to be the contrarian with me. Let's go put this industry to the test. Let's challenge it. Let's find the line they say that we can't step across, and I'll be with you and we'll do it together. Let's go do that. Let's go have some fun and challenge our industry, challenge the norms, and really create greatness for your customers, and by extension, my customers. Because that's this type of a relationship as I look to have with people. I don't look to work with hundreds. I look to work with like tens, because it is an intimate relationship. I do want to be invited to your daughter or your son's wedding. Okay. And vice versa. Right. I don't have daughters, I have sons. But that's the kind of relationships that I'm looking to establish. So I want that person that it has that belief within themselves, but needs that ally. And I can be that ally, and we can work together to really push outside the business. I want to see that you've got a good foundation. Like, I'm not going to be your HR department. I'm also not going to be your sales trainer. I'll challenge your sales process, and maybe we need to bring in somebody that I can refer in to properly help with sales process implementation. Maybe we can build on what you have and strip off some of that old stuff and put on some new sexy stuff. Right. But that I would say that's the person I'm looking for. Right. Somebody who's willing to step into that contrarian role and is sick and tired of what he's been told or she's been told they can and can't do.
So give us an example of a Cinderella story of one of your clients.
I would say the biggest one that's in use today, it's in the furniture industry. It's not in the mattress side of things, which is, it's in the home, but it is two distinct industries, because furniture is more fashion, right? It's fashion driven.
Yeah, you see the chair, the couch.
Well, they're right, and that's the thing. Like, again,
Right.
unless you're a swinger, you're not showing off your mattress to even your parents or your close friend. It just doesn't happen.
Even if it's a hide bed, I haven't seen anybody whip it out and go, check this out.
Right. Yeah. They just don't do stuff.
They don't do that.
So Natuzzi, if you go into a Natuzzi gallery, and I believe they're still doing this relationship's ended. It was a COVID sacrifice, but that's okay. We had a good run. But so Natuzzi is very fine, great quality Italian furniture, right?
Yep.
Sofas, sectionals, chairs. The problem they have is one of their pieces of furniture today, you as a consumer can go fill your home in some cases with furniture, a bedroom, a living room, and a dining room.
But let's face it, if you know what Natuzzi is, you're not the IKEA shopper.
Well, right. Again, but we gotta meet our customer where they are, right? They're seeing all that firepower and advertising from, you're up in Canada. So like the Brick and Leon's are probably your biggest ones, right? I don't know. Yeah.
Probably.
Either way.
Yeah.
In the States, you got Bob's and Raymore and Flanagan and Living Spaces. Their firepower behind advertising room packages is incredible. So I said to the franchise gallery, and it was the local franchise gallery that made the relationship, and then I worked up. I said, your problem is you're trying to compete brown sofa to brown sofa. You need to compete lifestyle and function to their brown sofa. Yeah. So we laid out these vignettes by how people use the room. So we had like the sacred room, which was an ode to my grandmother's actual living room, right? Like certainly no sex.
Sitting room.
Right. Sitting room.
You were allowed to sit in them. That was it.
No food, no shoes, no fired up conversation either. Like this is a peaceful room. That's the sacred room. Grand Central Station was what you could imagine a Grand Central Station. It's where you entertain. It's where you eat. It's where you relax. It's where you watch sports. Everything happens in that room. The power couple room was for that couple who, are empty nesters, but they're still in their careers and they're high powered. So they need comfort, they need function, they need USB ports and electrical ports for laptops. It needs to go up and down quick. The mechanism needs to move fast because when they want to get up, they want to get up. Then there was the relaxation room where, tilting headrests and lumbar in the cushions and vibration and massage, those kinds of things come into play, right? That's how we merchandised it. All the colors in the world were available, but we merchandised it out based on that and then complemented with the right surrounding stuff, the tables and the lamps and the artwork. And it all spoke to how that person was going to use the room. So it was, so tell me about your living room. Tell me how you use your living room. What's it like? Do you eat meals in there? And that was the question that got everybody. No, we don't eat in our living room. Okay. So now we point to the sacred room, right? Nice. And they, do you eat in your living room? The husband and wife look at you, oh my God, it's like the living room is like the room in our house. We do everything there. Great. Grand Central Station. So that was a big success, and it really changed the way they positioned, and price became very secondary. It was really not in the equation anymore. And that exploded out nationwide to all the galleries, and it got into their training manual. And so that was a real big success for them. And, it was nice for me, but they kept that going. So I'm proud of that one.
Well, and you bring up some good points, because even though we don't have all the American stories here, we have all the American advertising, so which is rather ironic. And but you bring up some good points of being able to cross market and see what other people are doing, because we can steal from Europeans, and we can steal from Americans, and we can steal from kind of what are you doing and how are you doing it, because it does bring in that nuance of finding out what that question is that turns people around. And if you're not having this question with somebody like Jeff, you're not going to find out what the question is. Do you eat in that room? Because in my experience, if you can figure out what that one question is, that it's like, my what? Where? Oh, all of a sudden you're having a completely different conversation than anybody than they had anywhere else, even if all they did was go down the street and go from store to store to store to store, and then they land in yours. You ask them that question and bam, you got them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love that. So what are some of the stumbling blocks that somebody might be having in their business right now? And they're thinking, oh my God, Jeff, I need you so badly.
Yeah, I would say, they're looking at what the remainder of 2023 has. You got the ever swirling trash that is news today, right? They might be trying to keep it out, but it still gets back there in their brain. And they're saying, I know we've got a good foundation. Maybe their revenues did this as a result of COVID or did the opposite as a result of COVID. But they've got the remainder of the year in front of them, and they're looking ahead and they're saying, I really need to find that place to separate and create a divide between me and the competition. I am happy to say that, like, I'm proud to say I can help create that divide. And I've done it over and over. And it's three simple things that I do, and I can tell you what they are, but it's how it's done is the magic. And when you commit to authority, that's number one. So having a great book, a great authority piece to market your business. Number two is committing to experience. And by that, I mean, how people experience your advertising. Is it that 50% is dedicated to lowest price? Where if your customer comes in and asks about a $3.99 product, which is a third of what your average sale is, how do you greet them? Do you get are you like, oh, geez, another one of these customers? You shouldn't be upset that that person's in front of you. You paid for exactly what you got. Mm-hmm. Whereas experience in advertising is like our who you're sleeping with ad. It's how are you sleeping? Get our Sleep Better book. Right? Mm-hmm. It's things like that. That's an opportunity for experience. There's an opportunity for that question of, so where do you eat your family dinners? Right? How do you use your deck? How do you want, what types of new memories do you want to create around this new kitchen we're designing for you? Right? What aren't you doing now in your dining room kitchen that you want to do? That's an experience. And then demonstration within the presentation is experience. Third one would be the systems, right? Because you're never going to be able to expand that growth if you don't have the systems to handle it, right? So those are the things like you should be asking yourself or be thinking about, and then saying, how do I get there? And that's where I do have skill, and I'm happy to work with people on it.
Nice. I love it. So how does somebody start their journey with you?
Yep. Real simple. Just go to thejeffg.com. You can book a discovery call there, and we'll do a high level dive into what you got going on, if there's a foundation there that I can help you with, and if we can scale that up.
Nice. Love it. So I still get to ask you, at what point in life did you know you're special kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. So I think it was kind of around me. It wasn't really talked about like in the family business. It wasn't like a family restaurant or something like that. But at 14, I wanted to go on a retreat with our youth organization, and mom and dad couldn't pay for it. So I started cutting grass and detailing, washing cars. And I made a good little business out of that. I actually sold that business to buy my first car. Yeah.
Fun.
It was pretty neat. I didn't know what I was doing. I had good structure to it. We lived in a development, and there were 3 phases of the development. They were pretty big. I sold the business. I sold 3 pieces off to neighborhood friends.
Awesome.
So I'm like, well, you can get this chunk because you live in that phase, and you get this chunk because you live in that one, and you get this third one.
Wow.
So I got an upfront dollar amount of $500 from each, and then I got 10% of the cut thereafter. But then all their parents are like, why are you paying Jeff? He's not doing any work. They didn't understand business. So the override lasted for a little while until their moms and dads shit all over it and ended it. But I had enough money to buy my first car, which was an 81 Camaro, and life was amazing.
Right on. Oh, that's awesome. I think this is the first time I've heard of anybody selling their childhood business.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, Jeff, you've been absolutely awesome. Any last words for our peeps?
Have fun. You're tuning into this podcast, so you're already somebody I think that's predisposed to fun.
Yeah,
but really, I mean, work to put yourself in your business where you are having fun most every day of the week. You're going to have these ups and downs, but if it's just a job, get out of it. You really have to be in a spot where you're enjoying what you do, get that passion back, and then the money follows.
I love it. Thank you so much for your time. I know how valuable it is, and I appreciate it. Peeps, this is Michelle Nedelec, your mistress in business. Thank you for being here today. Be sure to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app and share it with your friends, because we love helping you get it up and keep it up. Thank you for listening to the Little Blue Pill for Business podcast with your mistress in business, Michelle Nedelec. Why are you still here? Go to littlebluepillforbusiness.com and get your goodies. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to share it with somebody else that you know would enjoy getting it up in business after you subscribe to the podcast, of course, so you won't miss any future episodes. Now, check the notes for links. Oh, and only tell your wife if she's into this, entrepreneurship. And I'll see you both on the other side.